Achievement, a global force, a global name. Ladies and gentlemen, it pleases me to tell you that we have the presence of the former president of Nigeria, Chief Olusegun Matthew Okikiola Aremu Obasanjo, popularly and widely revered as the Abiola. Please can we clap our hands for this gigantic item, please? Please, let's clap, please, I'm begging, please, let's clap. Thank you as you comply. Also, here present, we have the special advisor to the Lagos State government, Governor on Tourism, Arts and Culture. I'm talking of no other person but Idris Aregbe. Here present, we are privileged to recognize the presence of the APC woman leader, Southwest Honorable Jumoke Okoya Thomas. Please, can we clap our hands for her, please? Also here present, we have the indefatigable, a woman of great excellence, the Honorable Commissioner for Tourism in Lagos State, Mrs. Toke Benson. Please, can we clap our hands for her too? And also here present, we have the Honorable Commissioner for Women Affairs, no other person but Mrs. Bola Dada. I will still be back to run through the protocols as they come in, but for now we need to get the program going. We need to get the program going, and I still have Cool Eyes Band on standby as we get ready to herald the arrival of the celebrants. I also want to specially appreciate a man that has contributed so much to the industry, a man who is a case study, a testament of excellence. I'm talking of no other person, a father, a grandfather, even an ancestor. He's always beaming with smile. I'm talking of no other person but Chief BC or Latino. To celebrate you, sir, my guy. That I just want to see that smile once again. That's your signature smile that will celebrate you. I'll be leaving the stage once again for. All right, so we are going straight. Ladies and gentlemen, we are privileged to have. Okay. Ladies, ladies and gentlemen. Two. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. you, thank you, thank you.
No video them when the time is necessary.
Ladies and gentlemen, my check, ladies and gentlemen, my check. Thank you, the Remy Chanter Band. Thank you for that great and rich cultural performance. We have a whole plethora of dignitaries here present, and we are particularly excited to recognize your presence on this great event celebrating an icon, a woman of great and inestimable value, a woman that embodies the essence of tireless dedication, an ambassador of culture, a guardian of traditional values, and a beacon of fashion sophistication. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, please can you clap your hands for Our Royal Highness Erelu Dr. Abiola Dosumu. Want to specially recognize the presence of the Executive Governor of Lagos.
Her Royal Highness Erelu Abiola Dosumu. We thank you for being the source of our strength for this coronation. We thank you. We thank you for the gift and life of our beloved mother, Her Royal Highness Abiola Dosumu. We thank you for being the source of our strength for the past 50 years and more. We thank you for your constant guidance upon her. We thank you for your favor. We thank you for many things you have done for her. We thank you for many dangers you have warned away from her. We thank you for the successes that has been recorded. We thank you for every good thing, especially for good health of mind and body. And so, God our Father, as we thank you for the gift of this beautiful mother of ours, we ask you to be with us as we celebrate her today, to take your seat among us and to grant success to today's celebration, that the joy that we celebrate today may be a lasting one and the lives of every one of us gathered here to celebrate with her. We ask you to continue to be with her, to watch over her, to protect her, and to hold her by the hand and lead her onward. For this and many other graces, especially the grace of office, to continue to mount higher and higher, we ask through Jesus Christ our Lord. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
Years, don't ṣe lórí oyè ení ni wọ́n tún máa ṣọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ wọ́n lè lè wọ́n dàbí sí ìláyà alhamdulilayi rọ̀bì alamin aráàmọ́ni rọ̀hìn mọ́lìkì haumidin yá kaná àbúwá yá kaná sàyìn ìjìnà sàrántà ìmùtẹ̀kì sàrántà lẹ́sìn àdáńtà àlejò láìní mọ́kúta àlejò wàládọ́ọ̀dù àmín.
káàbọ̀.
àníwá yín tètè ìyá wa Erelu ọba òun ló ń ṣe 50 ọdún lórí ìtẹ́ kò ní ṣàṣetì ń sìn eléyìí tá à ń ṣe lẹ́yìn àrífi ṣàṣe mọ́ lágbára olúwo ọ̀run àjàgùnmàlẹ̀ ọba níní má rí ọba ńlá ọba wí bẹ́ẹ̀ jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ọba tó ń jẹ́ èmi ni òun ni wọ́n dájọ́ lé lọ́wọ́ ọjọ́ náà pé ọjọ́ náà dẹ̀ pé ó pè ní àwa wẹ̀yìn à ń wẹ̀yìn bàbá wa ọlọ́run wa.
Màmá ẹ pẹ́ ẹ túbọ̀ dàgbà ẹ fọ pàrọ̀ ẹ fẹ́rù kìjọbì alẹ́ yìí máa lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ nìyẹn yìí tó fò tíhun ni a máa rí yín pẹ́pẹ́ gbogbo ẹ̀yin bàbá mi olóyè onífìlà funfun tìlú Èkó ìbànújẹ́ ò ní kàn yín o.
Ó sà ọ̀sára ẹ̀ thank you sir ọba àtọ́kọ.
Your Excellencies,
Sir.
Baba Africa, Your Excellency,
Hello, Mikey now.
our Governor of Lagos, Your Excellency, the First Lady, Your Excellency, the Erelu of the universe. It's my pleasure to, in a few minutes, present the citation of this global citizen, the woman whose waves spread across Lagos and Nigeria and West Africa and Latin America and Europe and the United States and the entire globe. I suppose that I'm going to do this because of the ties that I have with the Erelu, and I will just briefly outline them. First is that I had the honor and privilege of conferring an honorary degree on the Erelu as Vice Chancellor of Igbenegio University several years ago. So we share that in common. Second is that this great Erelu, the scion of the Dosumu heritage of Lagos, also has a Benin heritage, and therefore I'm very pleased and glad that she's our queen and ambassador of the Empire of Benin. Third, of course, is that Erelu is a distinguished fellow of the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs, and that makes her an ambassador for all times and for all seasons. Finally, I'm very glad at the personal and private level that she is my egbon, she is my sister, she's my auntie, and she's my friend. Now, don't be confused at all. Today we have a double celebration. She's 50 on the throne of Erelu Kuti of Lagos. She's the fourth in that order. But today, the 29th of July, is also her birthday. She was born on this day in 1947 in Kano. And as I think of it, the reason she is Pax Nigeriana and she's very distinguished as a mother of the nation is the fact that she has a very pan-Nigerian foundation. I'm sure if you speak Hausa to her, she understands, and that's great. Thank you, ma'am. Now, she was born to royalty, and if you want aristocracy at its best and its highest and the most celebrated, you haven't found any greater than her. Now, Erelu was born to the Prince Adewumi and the Olori herself, Dosumu, in that year, 1947. Now, these two parents exposed her to everything that culture and tradition meant, and she took that very seriously. I can tell you that going through the palace of the Oba of Lagos, across two Obas Oba Adeniyi Adele and Oba Oyeko. She learned everything that was important in the palace, and that's why today, as Erelu Kuti, she is not only the great ambassador, she's the queen mother, and she also teaches and empowers people in all of these different ramifications. Erelu, you are Oba Obiri. We thank God for your life. But you see, this Erelu has been described by her biographer in terms of 3 pillars. The one pillar is her freedom, because she exceeded every expectation that the boundaries of womanhood would have meant for her. So she defines freedom in its full ramification. Second is adventure. She's very adventurous. She has trodden the entire world. She's an aficionado, of everything that fashion would represent. And she has proven to be a great and worthy ambassador. But the biographer also says that 50 recognizes that she's having a new beginning, because 50 is the magic point where things begin to get reinvented. And so she's today marshalling all of us to new heights that we have never seen. But let me tell us that when she first got into womanhood through Major Adekunle Elegbede, she joined hands with Major Elegbede in 1967 to ensure that Lagos State became a state of its own. So if you're looking for the foundations of the establishment of Lagos State, don't look beyond her. She's been very, very great. And she's been at the basis of all that went on to the foundation of Lagos. When she lost her husband, and a few years after got married to the great ambassador, Fernandez, you will know that through her entrepreneurial support and drive, Fernandez became the first African to lift crude oil. And that became a great distinction for her. No wonder a few years after the lifting of oil, she became a major player in OPEC affairs. And today, if you look at the annals of OPEC, she has a very distinguished place in the history of that work. But let me not bore you, because we have a long day ahead of us. Let me tell you the other thing that you would consider exciting about this great personality. She is a peace ambassador, a peacemaker and a peace builder. And it is not for nothing that she is Yeye Odua. I tell you what she has done. There was a time, there was a little problem between Baba Africa, who's sitting here, and Chief Benson. Yes, Toss Benson. And she stepped in and reconciled them. But there was even a greater one between Baba Oni himself and the Alaafin of Oyo. She stepped in again and brought them together and reconciled them. So today, the whole world celebrates you. This world knows now that when a woman has great pedigree and a woman has honed herself through her entrepreneurial drive and has become worthy of emulation, she can rule the world as a queen. She is a royal queen, but most of all, she's a beautiful queen. A queen who set up a shop on Bond Street in London. And she ruled the world through Bond Street, taking her shopping, to the farthest corners of the world. And here in Lagos, she has established what you will see there as a gallery, but all of this to support the work that she does as a culture ambassador. So we worship you, Your Royal Highness. Oba Obiri, God bless you, and thank you. I present to you the great Erelu of the universe. Thank you very much.
Please, I think we can do better with the applause. That was in depth. Thank you, sir. I want to quickly run through my names of dignitaries that I have here present. As I have more, I'll promise to come back and call. I want to specially recognize the presence of the former First Lady of Ekiti State in person of Erelu Bisi Fayemi. distinguished guests, we are privileged to have the presence of the First Lady, I'm talking of no other person but the ever-smiling Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. Please, can we give her a round of applause, please? Please, those applause are not resounding. Can we give her a round of applause, please? Thank you. I also want to recognize the presence of the First Lady of Kwara State and also the chairperson, Nigeria Governors Spouses Forum, Ambassador Professor Olufolake Abdurazak. Please, can we give her a very thunderous round of applause, please? I want to specially appreciate this man. Of everyone seated on this stage, he is the youngest. Of everyone seated on this stage, is the youngest. I want to specially appreciate a great icon, the former president of Nigeria, the ever young Chief Erelu Okikiola Obasanjo. Please, can we give Baba a round of applause, please? Every time I see Baba, Baba will say I should not greet him like an elder. He likes me to greet him like a young man. So, Chief Obasanjo, I greet you, sir. I greet you, my daughter. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Chief. Also, I want to recognize our...
Ọlábísí lórúkọ mi, kì í ṣe Abiola o. Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, thank you very much for being here today with the celebrant, Governor Sanwo-Olu, and his beautiful wife, my dear sister, Dr. Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu. Your Excellency, the former President of Nigeria, our dear father, President Olusegun Obasanjo, our royal fathers, Kábíyèsí Ajápẹ́lórí Bàtà Pẹ́lẹ́sẹ̀, my dear sister, Dr. Olufolake Abdulrazak, wonderful remarks earlier on, and all the wonderful distinguished persons on the high table, and all the distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Good afternoon to you all. Approximately 50 years ago, an 11-year-old girl sat in front of the television for most of the day. This 11-year-old girl was fascinated to see a probably once-in-a-lifetime ceremony take place that involved a beautiful young woman who was being named the Erelu Kuti of Lagos. This 11-year-old did not know that it was possible for a woman, a young woman at that, to be given such a distinguished position. And so, this 11-year-old grew up knowing, encouraged by her father as well, but she grew up knowing that there was nothing that a woman could not do. That a woman could be productive, resourceful, resilient, and be the best that she could ever be. That 11-year-old is standing before you today. I was that little girl. A few months ago, I was talking to a group of students, young girls between the ages of 16 and 20. And we're talking about a whole range of things, and then they asked me a question which bothered me. They said, "Ma, these days, a lot of young men are asking young women, what do you bring to the table?" And I looked at all these young girls who are being educated at one of the best schools in the country, who are going to go on to receive degrees around the world, and they are going to become doctors, lawyers, engineers, hopefully senators, ministers, a governor, hopefully president of Nigeria one day. And these girls were asking me, "Ma, these guys are asking us, what do you bring to the table?" And so my response to them was, the education you are receiving now, the opportunities you are being given, they are not meant for you to take anything to anyone's table. It is meant for you to have your own table. And I was able to tell them that because I grew up knowing someone, not just someone, many women around me, particularly Yoruba women who are brought up in a tradition of industry, entrepreneurship, faith, decent values, respect, education if you have access to it. I grew up knowing that I had an obligation to build my own table. And then hopefully if there's a young man who is interested in having a conversation with me, he will show me his table and I will show him mine. Erelu, Ma, the celebrant of today, my mother, my mentor, my friend, my big sister, thank you for showing the way for many women, for teaching us that it is possible for us to own our own table, and that we can be whatever we want to be at any age without going around looking for someone to do things for us or make us do things that will put our persons and our dignity to question. Thank you for always showing us that we can write a different story for women in this country. And so all I can say to you, what do you tell someone who has everything? All I can say to you, Ma, is thank you. And also to encourage you to continue to do what you have been doing. And also for the rest of us to continue to learn from you and to document your story. So we can continue to tell our daughters and their granddaughters that there is a woman who knew from day one how important it is for us to own our own tables in the boardroom, in politics, in any place, and to have beauty that is not only external but internal as well, and also, in your own case, eternal. God bless you, man.
Thank you, Erelu Besifayemi. Please, let's give her a better.
Your Excellency, the Governor of Lagos State, and our beautiful First Lady, Your Excellency, good evening. My former boss and former head of state, Your Excellency, former President of Nigeria. It's good to see you again, sir. It was a pleasure working with you. Your Excellencies, First Ladies here present, KBSs, Your Royal Highnesses, I must recognize the White Cap Chiefs and the president of my association, Association of Lagos Cyber Chiefs, Chief Kesintin Adelutu. We're just coming from the meeting of Lagos Cyber Chiefs, Ekasasa. Your Excellencies here present, my church members of Our Lady of Perpetual Help, I must recognize you as my constituency. Another constituency is the president of the Cosmopolitan Ladies Club of Lagos. I recognize all of you present. It is my privilege, my great privilege, to read this letter from the former head of state. And what I find amazing about it is how well he describes you, Erelu. I was given this a minute ago to read, and I could not believe he knows you so well. So please, spare a few minutes to listen to me. He says, Oloye Abiola Dosumu, Erelu Kuti the Fourth of Lagos, a tribute of honor. It is gratifying to know that you have attained the age of 50 on the throne as the delectable Erelu Kuti the Fourth of Lagos, a position that you have elevated to an admirable height over the years. It is also enthralling for me to celebrate your achievements as someone who has brought honor, candor, grandeur, and elegance to this very unique title, which has made you a model for many upcoming Nigerians. As a friend and compatriot, I wish to convey to you my hearty congratulations on this remarkable feat. Your disposition to this title and the way you have conducted yourself in the past 50 years of this title are eloquent testimonies to your uncommon grit and gravitas. You are not just a thoroughbred traditional personality and cultural icon whose contributions to our cultural heritage has remained unblemished. You epitomize the patriotic zeal that helps society to flourish in the most profound way. Reflecting on the good old days, Erelu, you have remained your ageless self, bubbling with enthusiasm on the lofty ideas and ideals that you represent. You have always nourished a beautiful smile and laughter, never a dull moment. As you celebrate this golden age as Erelu Kuti the Fourth of Lagos, I wish to join many of your friends, admirers, associates, and family to salute your consistency, your stamina. I'm always telling you are tireless. Your stamina, positive conduct, and subliminal humility, which you have exhibited thus far to promote the culture of your forefathers. May Allah, in His infinite mercy, continue to grant you uncommon wisdom in the discharge of your cultural and royal responsibilities. As a cultural icon immersed in royalty, your remarkable achievements will live for prosperity. The sky is your limit. Accept my esteemed assurances and many hearty congratulations on the unique celebration. Yours and well done, General I.B. Babangida, GCFR, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
On this day, July 29, 1947, in the beautiful city of Kano, Nigeria, Prince and Oloriti A. Dosumu welcomed their firstborn child, and they named her Abiola Dosumu. Even by her name, you could tell that she was priceless. Look, she was raised in a culturally rich and politically involved environment. And her father, he was a respected traditional leader, the Baale of Lagos, and also a recipient of the Order of the Federal Republic. We call them the Dosumu of Lagos. If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know. If you know, you know.
One sumo. I need one kere si number, mama. One kere si number wa. One kere si number wa. One kere si number wa. From her early years as a child, of writing a 10-page letter to the palace, to becoming the Erelu of Lagos, the first indigenous woman to lift crude oil out of Nigeria. Hey! Mama has received numerous awards for her contributions. Officer of the Order of Nigeria. Are you playing? Mama. We are talking about the most outstanding female legislator. Ladies and gentlemen, join us as we celebrate Honorable Abiola Dosumu, Erelu of Lagos, Yeye Odua of the Source. Eba mi kira fún mama. Hey.
Appreciation.
Thank you, the whole factor. Thank you, Didi. You will still have ample time to dance. Thank you. Thank you, Didi. Thank you. In case you are wondering that lady's face is familiar, if you've watched the #1 movie on Netflix right now, House of God, she's the one that acted right now. So that's free advert for you. Don't worry, I won't charge you for it. All right, for the next goodwill message, it gives me a very, very great privilege, and I'm bursting with fresh energy to bring up stage a born orator, a force, a leader, a father, a grandfather, a great-grandfather, a great-great-grandfather, a global icon, a 360-degree leader, popularly revered as Abiola. Ladies and gentlemen, Chief Erelu Olusegun Okikiola.
Long life, good health, a sound mind, and all of the creative wisdom you have that you continue to lead all of us. Through him, let me acknowledge very warmly our mother, a celebrant of today, who means so many things to so many people. And I'm sure today we're seeing a demonstration of that here this evening. Her Royal Majesty Erelu Abiola Dosumu, Erelu Kuti the fourth of Lagos. Through you, acknowledge all our first ladies, of course, including my darling wife, acknowledge each and every one of you. Thank you very much for coming to grace this event. Excellency, Madam Deputy Governor, and all our traditional institutions, our royal fathers, because she has corrected me that they are also royal mothers. All of you are adequately acknowledged and recognized. I think the MCs have done all of that. Men that have served the country in various fashions, including retired generals, our white cap chiefs, captains of industry that are here, the traditional interests, all of you that are here, that like culture, that like art, and that embodies everything that is cultural in our environment. Ladies and gentlemen, what an evening. This is a simple but very historic event, very memorable, and I'm sure one for a very long time. It will be difficult for anyone to hit or to meet or attempt to surpass the history that we're putting together here today. And if we don't understand the full import of what it is, they've described it in different ways. But I said that if a 27-year-old young lady, a 27-year-old, so we can actually put it in context now, a 27-year-old young lady, 50 years ago, will attain, could be identified, could be so crowned as the fourth Erelu of the whole of Lagos 50 years ago. I think it speaks a whole lot to who she was then, who she is now, and what they saw then. So I think they deserve a big round of applause again. You see, we might not fully appreciate what it is, but let's cast our minds back 50 years ago and look around and imagine that in all of Lagos, because let's put the story right too, Lagos has been in existence before Nigeria. Nigeria came to being in 1914, but the colony of Lagos has been in existence way before that. And so an history that has over 100 years before then, to have looked around and bestowed to a 27-year-old beautiful, young, outstanding, gracious Lagosian at that time, I think we cannot celebrate her enough. But for me, standing here very humbly as your governor, she is a reflection of the best that Lagos continue to give our country. She is the best in stock for, and you can clap, because this is Lagos we're celebrating now. Yes, I know that she's also from the source, and Johnny is not here yet, so I can as well take all of the applause. And obviously, your lower Emma Binu, this is Lagos, and this is how we do it. And there is no 2-1. We don't say welcome, we say this is Lagos. For her to have been the best and the shining light that threw her out 50 years ago, you can agree with me that it was a wise choice, it was an appropriate choice, it was a choice that has kept history, for 50 years, you know, in tandem. And we want to thank you very much, ma'am. We want to thank you for what you have turned that position into, how you have used your stool, your royalty, to define and to demonstrate the cultural essence of Lagos, of Yoruba land, of Africa. Continually, you see her anywhere, in whatever part of the world. Since she got crowned, she continues to embody that cultural attire, that cultural essence, understanding what richness of the culture we have. Some of us are even still struggling to keep our peace with that. But for 50 years, she has kept faith with it, she has demonstrated it, she has shown us what it is, not only being cultural, but speaking, you know, to reality and holding forth for 50 years. I think God will continue to gracefully give you all you need to continue to carry this lofty position. We are proud of you. You are one of the very best that we have in Lagos, and you have continually demonstrated that for us. For 50 years, you have kept this position at the highest level of dignity with honor that is deserving. In fact, We know that you've created a big ship, but God will still give you long life, will still give you good health to continue, to hold on to this. And so the message is really not for her today. It's for all of us that are coming behind her, because she is continuing to play her part. How well have we used her story to tell our individual stories? How well have we used what she has been to tell our individual story? And that's why I will not lose the opportunity to speak to the youth and the young people today. That's not about what you have today. It's about who you will be 40, 50 years from today. And so what you cannot stand for in your 20, in your 30, in your early, whatever age it is, and project and say that how will people view me 40, 50 years from today? Think about it twice. Because 27 years or 50 years ago when she was 27, she couldn't have imagined what life holds ahead for her. And we all can reflect and see that for 50 years, she has kept faith. She has demonstrated, that it was a wise choice, it was a proper choice, and she has shown all of us, generations that have come behind you, that you have kept faith with our tradition. You have kept faith with the dignity of the office. You have kept faith with the historical relevance that the Erelu Kuti has in the history of Lagos. We want to thank you very much. We want to thank you, and everybody has spoken, that we have used you as a point of contact to all of our aunties and sisters. All of them have grown to be first ladies here. All of them have grown to be captains of industry here. All of them have grown to be individual people that have learned so much from it. Each time a trip, a band comes up, you tell me this is the person that threw in this band. Another person comes up, you tell me this is the contributor. It's because of how well you have trained all of them, and how well they have watched you, and the embodiment of simplicity, humility that you have passed on and you have shown. That's why they are all showing it and giving you love today. And so for me, it's for us to continue to thank God for our life, to continue to reflect and say that if she can do it over 50 years, then we don't have an excuse. We don't have any reason not to ensure that we take it all from where she is, and we know our culture, our historic heritage, our fashion, that has also been displayed here. Our fashion, everything that we are about is outstanding. Please, let's keep it up. Let's hold on to it, because we don't have any other place. Nobody will teach us our history better than ourselves. Nobody will teach us our culture, our tradition better than ourselves. And it's only when we preserve them, we hold them, that the entire world can indeed be part of it. I want to thank you on behalf of the people and government of Lagos State. I want to thank you on behalf of the entire traditional institution of Lagos State. I want to thank you on behalf of all of our cultural heritage, that Erelu, Abiola, Dosumu, Erelu fourth. You have shown us class, you have shown us relevance, you have shown us dignity, and God will continue to honor you. God will continue to give you long life. At 77, you'll be 80, you'll be 85, you'll be 90, you'll be 100. Thereafter, you and your God can begin to speak when you're 100 and above. That how long do you still want to take it? But we know that you'll be, ageless. Even when you get there.
We all know that Erelu Dosumu is passionate about fashion, and over the years they've creatively worked on some Adire collection, and it is this moment that Erelu will be leading our esteemed dignitaries on stage to the Adire Center, where they are going to have a look at the amazing collection we have in stock. Please, it's a very small space, so we'll only be able to accommodate our dignitaries on stage and the white cap chiefs first, as Erelu will be leading our esteemed dignitary to the unveiling of the Adire collection.
Thank you. So, it's a simple exercise, but I want to put a different flavor to it. Not a lot of times would anybody be celebrating 50 years on a throne. It's really very historic, and I want to crave your indulgence for all of us to participate in this exercise. I'm going to count from 1 to 50. Our auntie will stretch her hands. Baba will join by the side, and all the other excellencies will just stretch. One will be 1975, then 1980, 6 years, 1985 will be 11 years, 1991 will be 16 years, no, 21 years, year 2000 will be, my mathematics will be 26 years, right? Year 2000 will be 26 years, 2010 will be 36 years, 2022 will be 48 years, 2023 will be 49 years, and now 2024 will be 50 years. See, it took me 50 years to get there. To the glory of God, to Almighty, to all of our traditional institutions and believe we have done this, believing that our auntie
Excellency.
Oh, I can't. No wasting, no wasting. No time to wait.
Ó ti parí ọ̀pọ̀ tó níwájú ó tún gbé ọ̀nà ìlọ bóyá ẹ̀rù ó pẹ̀tù wọ̀ lọ́wọ́lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀rù ó pẹ̀tù wọ̀ ọ̀la òtọ́ ọ̀la kù sẹ́yìn ìjàmbúrẹ́dá 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 ọ̀la òtọ́ ọ̀la kù sẹ́yìn. Ẹ̀tún wájú ọ̀la súnpẹ̀ jaburata ọ̀la ọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀la kù sẹ́yìn jaburata. Ẹ̀tún wẹ̀yìn ọ̀la túnbẹ̀ jaburata ọ̀la ọ̀tọ̀ ọ̀la kù sẹ́yìn jaburata.